We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. From heartbreak to strength, the lessons unfold. It's about how we rise, not the stories we've told. Guests with their journeys, sharing their light. In every collision, there's power in sight. It's more than a talk, it's the wisdom we gain through every struggle, through every pain. With conversations that open the door to purpose, to power, to so much more. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. So come as you are, with your scars and fears. This is the place where the truth appears. Turn your trials into stepping stones. Find the strength to claim your throne. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. A collision with purpose, your journey starts here. In every conversation, we'll wipe away fear. Find your purpose, let your life ignite. With Dr. Stephenson, you'll find your light.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you're joining us from today. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action, the platform where we explore the stories, struggles, lessons, and leadership journeys that inspire us to become better individuals and build better communities. Here on this platform, we believe that every meaningful transformation begins with conversation. Today, we're honored to engage in a timely and important discussion on leadership, youth empowerment, sports development, and the future of Africa. Our world is searching for leaders who can build systems that last, create opportunities for young people, and inspire communities to rise above limitations. Our guest today has dedicated much of his life to doing exactly that. Please join me in welcoming a remarkable leader, visionary, and advocate for youth development, Mr. Collins Ojiwa. Mr. Ojiwa is a distinguished Kenyan sports development professional. He's an entrepreneur, a youth leader, and a strategic administrator. He currently serves as the LEO District President for District 411A, providing leadership and inspiration to thousands of young leaders across Kenya, Ethiopia, and other parts of Africa. He's also the founder of Fairway Sports Limited, an organization committed to increasing sports participation, nurturing talents, fostering corporate partnerships, and leveraging sports as a catalyst for community transformation. Known for his philosophy of systems that work, Collins believes that sustainable change requires intentional leadership, collaboration, accountability, and structures that outlive individuals. His work continues to inspire young people across Africa to dream bigger, lead boldly, and create lasting impact. Collins, welcome to Life Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. How are you doing, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Professor Laxley. Yes, indeed, it's such a big honor to be hosted in your platform. So, first and foremost, my name is Collins Ojiwa, and thank you for the wonderful description. I did know that you have all that information about myself. So, you must be such a great researcher. And yes, thank you very much.
Well, we had the opportunity, we worked together while I was in Kenya just
Yes,
last
yes,
month.
yes.
We did some work together, and I was really impressed with you and your team, how you came together and joined us in doing so many wonderful things for the students, the underserved, segment of the society in Kakamega County and Viega County. So that compelled me to want to have this conversation with you, and that's why we're here today. But before we get into the conversation, how are things
Yeah.
going with you? What is it like in Kenya right now?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Kindly repeat the question.
I said before we get into our conversation, you're
Yes,
in
sir.
Kenya. Just what is it like in Kenya right now? What is going on with you in Kenya and your organization?
Well, in Kenya, quite a lot is happening. The good things. What's very very current in Kenya and in regards to the organization that I lead is that currently we have been actually in a transition stage where we get the new leadership coming on stage. And yes, 3 days ago I was actually installed as the district president, and that means now start officially now district president, and now the work starts, and just to make sure that our organization does well in whatever we do, and just to make sure that young people in my district, the guys that I lead, about 2,000 of them, they are able to shape the conversation and look towards one particular direction, and that is service to the community. Again, looking at my current country right now, we are about a year to the election, so definitely a lot of politics here and there. But yes, that's what's current in Kenya. But so we are trying the best that we can just to make sure we serve our communities despite the challenges and despite everything that is happening in the country.
All right. So thanks for sharing that. Before we discuss leadership systems and the future of Africa, I would
Yes.
like our audience to get to know the person behind the mission. Who is Collins Ojiwa
Right.
behind the titles, achievements, and leadership positions?
Oh, wow, wow. Thank you very much. Beyond the titles, the man that is here today is a passionate community youth advocate. I do a lot of community youth initiatives. I'm passionate about servicing the community. I'm a trained professionally. I'm trained as a sports scientist, majoring in sports administration and management. So that's my background, and that's one thing. Sports and service to the community is one thing which I'm so passionate about. Yes, that's what I do. That's who I am here in Kenya.
Awesome, awesome. You know, where you are today is not where you started.
Yeah,
Can you
definitely.
share the struggles and disappointments that define our defining moment that shaped who you are today and the leader who you are?
Wow. Beautiful. Defining moment for me came about when I was in primary school. Yeah, that looks like a long story, definitely. Primary school, what happened was that I go to school that time. Basically, you'd find that learners were more bigger people than myself by that time because I was a little bit more tiny at that time. And you have guys who are much bigger than you. So basically, what happened was that it didn't have a smooth learning process. especially at the foundation of my education, and I was heavily bullied. Uh, and heavily looked down upon that stage, and I was like, okay, so what else can we do? So what basically the turning point came about when I was looking at, okay, now these guys are bigger than me, so how can I manage these guys? I can't fight them, I can't do anything physical to harm them. So what happened? I realized that yes, I'm good in academics and I can lead these guys. So I majored on my academics. So at some point they would feel shy being beaten or being overshadowed by someone who is too young, who is too tiny in the classroom, who had a big head in the classroom. Yes, so that became a turning point. So I said, okay, there's something which can happen. So I first of all had to major in my academics and progressed well. Then I started venturing into leadership, and that made them to be humbled, and that made me to realize that okay, you have a big potential. At the second point, that there's a turning point basically at when I was in now in high school. So basically, we have our education system must be more theoretical. So at point we read books and all that. Then at one instance, one of my actually my class teacher told me, okay, Booz, I think for you, you're best for the next level, not this level. And that rang some value to my head. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, what did she mean by that statement? Um, so we had a talk about it after some time, and she told me you need to pursue leadership. You're a great leader, and that's why basic books are not helping you. You need to read tough things, and that basically nurtured me, ushered me into real leadership.
Awesome. And what I've observed about you, and I know
Yeah,
leadership is what your life is all about, but
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
life
sure.
work is centered around young people. That is
Yes,
your focus. Your work you work closely with young people across Africa. What
yes.
concerns you most about the next generation? What is it that concerns you the most?
Well, this at my heart all the time. um, my greatest concern when you talk about young people in Africa is that we have so many talented young people who apparently they lack opportunities um, that they can link their talents with. They lack proper mentorship that can make them to be who they want to be in life, or rather, who what they like to achieve in life. And basically, they lack. Rather, we have limited opportunities in terms of systems that can make young people grow. So talent is so much abundant in Africa, it's so big, but opportunities are not distributed equally for young people to tap into, and that worries me most of the time. And I believe if we can have progressively good systems that make these young people to grow, tap into the opportunities and their talents, I believe that's something which will be wonderful for my continent, Africa.
So it's about opportunities or the lack thereof
Yes,
is a concern for you.
yes, opportunities, mentorship aspect plays a great role.
Mm.
Yes,
Now we talk about what your concerns are. What gives
yes,
you the greatest hope for Africa's future, and specifically Kenya's future? What gives you the greatest hope?
very simple on this resilience, creativity. Yes, despite the enormous challenges that we face as young people in Africa and specifically Kenya, young people in this country continue to innovate, they continue to dream as big as possible, they continue to create solutions, and I'm glad to be part of that particular journey in creating solutions for my fellow youth. So, if we provide the right leadership and systems, this is what I believe, then Africa's days are still ahead. I mean, our greatest days are still ahead, and we can achieve a lot.
Indeed. Now, Collins, I want you to speak directly to every young person across Africa and specifically East Africa.
Yeah.
What do you want them to know? What do you want to share with them?
Well, what I can share with young people, specifically across East Africa, is that there's a lot that we can achieve. There's a lot that we can make happen. What it means that what we need to do at this particular stage as young people is to continue being innovative as much as possible. We have to continue being resilient to the circumstances that we are facing, because sometimes when you look at situations that we are in, some of them are global situations. So it means we can't stop being resilient to the situations that we are in. So the much that we continue being resilient to our circumstances, the much we continue being innovative to the circumstances we are in, I believe that's what our young people need in East Africa and even Africa at large.
Mm. Not just East Africa, but Africa at large. All right.
Yes,
So, one of your greatest passion is sports. You're
yes,
very passionate about sports. And I should say that many people view sports simply as entertainment, but
yes,
you
yes,
see something much deeper. You know,
yes,
you see it as a form of transformation. What do you
yes.
see that others may be missing? What is it that you're seeing that others may be missing?
What I see in sport that others are not seeing. Well, a lot, and I believe a lot of people are blind when we come and talk about sports. One, some of the things that we really need to understand about sports, and also how can we bring holistic environment, holistic communities. One is that sport teaches you discipline, teaches you resilience, teaches you teamwork, it teaches you accountability and leadership. Those are five key components that sport teaches you. Relating this to what we have, with the challenges that we have. If you can use sport, if you can see these possibilities, the possibility of sport teaching someone discipline about resilience, teamwork, accountability, and leadership, then it means that we are able to build character in individuals while creating economic opportunities for young people, creating economic and healthier communities, because when you have a healthy community, when you have a healthy generation, then definitely by default you have a well or a good economically empowered community of young people. So sports are not just games, they are classrooms without walls, that people need to look at it from that perspective, not the perspective of it's just entertainment.
Yes, indeed. Sports like music, there's something
Yes,
about these two things. They have a way of bringing people together. Now,
yes,
you're from Kakamega County, Collins, right?
yes,
And
yes, yes.
look
The
at
beautiful
Kakamega.
Kakamega County.
You know, what if Kakamega County and Kenya
Yes.
intentionally invested in sports, leadership, and youth development? How different
Yes.
could our communities, your communities, look 20 years from now?
Wow. Uh, that's that's big. That's beautiful. Well, there are a lot that will definitely happen. Looking at it, sport itself, sport brings a bit of coming up with a healthier community. So, if you can intentionally invest in sports for Kakamega, Kenya, and even Africa at large, you'll see definitely healthier communities. Will be able to lower the unemployment rate, which apparently, as we speak, is so high in our country, and it's basically because we have neglected some of these industries. We'll be able to have strong economies, because once you give people employment, then they'll be able to employ another person, they'll be able to support another person. Industries will be built because you need athletes to have merchandise, you'll have managers managing athletes, and definitely that means for a county, for a country, that means a strong economy. Of course, we'll be looking at reduced crime rate, because you find that they do say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So basically, if we can focus on sports, then it means that you're able to reduce on the idleness that is there, which leads to crime in some instances. And of course, sport brings the aspect of leadership. That means that we'll be able to bring, a generation of ethical leaders, people who believe in our communities, people who know that this community is bound to be better, to be great. So investing in young people today is investing in Africa's future, stability, and prosperity.
Absolutely. Now, Collins, we know the impact. We know the application of sports and what it can
Yeah.
do. But the
Yes, yes,
question then is, how can sports become a vehicle for peace, leadership, economic opportunity, and yes, nation building? We know
yeah.
what it will do, but how can we get that done?
Pardon?
We know the impact. We know that what
Yeah,
sports
yeah.
can do, right? We
Yes,
know
yes.
what it can do, but how do we get it? How do we make that happen? How do we make sports become a vehicle for peace, leadership, economic opportunity, and nation building? What is the process? How do we get that done?
Well, the first thing and first and foremost, rather, is to build systems that allows us to believe that this is an industry that is untapped. We have to believe and build systems that make young people to believe that sport is an industry that can earn them a living. We have to believe that developing the sport industry is a way that our economy will be able to grow. So essentially, what we have to believe in is that we have to develop an entire pathway. We have to create a good system for people to know that sport is not just game; it is a potential. It carries a big potential for us to be the greatest people that we will ever want to.
We have a way of tying into these international teams, these big leagues, Premier Leagues, and all that good stuff. I was just in
Yes,
Kenya and I saw the way Kenyans are responding to football, to soccer in England. But
yes, yes.
that's one thing. We need to bring that now to the local level where we are not just spectators, right?
Yes, yes,
We're participants, we're actively
yes,
engaged. And I think
yes,
that, it's all good and well to support Arsenal or whoever the team is. But what
yes.
about the local teams and local sports? What's going on with that?
Well, it's a work in progress. Good to admit that it's a work in progress. So basically, what's happening currently in our country, for instance, we have local football clubs organized from the village level and all that. So our structure, what I appreciate more about is the fact that you find it's moving from corporate level to community level. So by bringing the community, it means that you have more people that is coming to appreciate that this is an industry that can create employment for people. You have you have now to start believing that this is going to create employment for us. And also the good thing that is coming with the grassroots approach that is happening in our country is that you bring everybody. You bring the government side. You bring the young people, young youthful organizations. You're able to bring now the corporate. So it means it's creating a big ecosystem. And I believe if it's something which is done consistently, let's say about 10, 20 years to come, we'll be probably talking about a different story. At national level, what's happening currently in terms of our sport participation? First thing is that we are now diversing into different sports, unique sports, more or less individualized sports. They are growing so much, and that means that I don't have to get to a team to play, and that's basically opening more doors for more young people. In terms of team sport, let's say soccer and all that. Again, the beautiful thing that is happening is that clubs are now realizing, hey, we don't have to play in the city alone. Now they're coming to play even in what we call machinani with the grassroots, and that's beautiful.
Definitely. You and I will agree that as important as talent is, and there's no lack of talent in Kenya or Africa for that
Yes.
matter, talent alone
Yeah.
is not enough. Talent
Yes.
alone is not enough. And we're not just talking about sports here. Talent alone is not enough.
Yes.
Sustainable impact
Yeah.
requires leadership and systems. Do we
Yes.
have a leadership crisis, a system crisis, or a crisis of purpose in Kenya and East Africa?
Oh well. We should have started from here. Yes, I can say we have all the three. But the greatest challenge that we have, if I can compare the three, is a system challenge. We have systematic problems. So what happens is that strong leaders can only achieve so much. Uh, they can only achieve so much without systems, but ensure accountability, continuity, and sustainability. So, uh, for this to happen, we must be intentional about building systems that will outlive leaders, building systems that are properly structured, because that's the only way that now we can be able to tap into the amazing talents that we have. That's the only way that we'll be able now to progress from the point we are to the next point. That's the way building a stronger system is the only way that we'll be able now to move uh, these beautiful talents and make sure that the country is economically empowered and all that. So, again, building a stronger system basically means that we are able to solve any leadership crisis, because what it means is a leader that comes after me will fit into the system. They don't have to reinvent the wheel again. The system is already there, it's working. So you either fit in, when you either ship in or you ship out. If the
Mm.
system is too tough, then you're like, oh, no, no, I can do this. But having a proper system, building a system, will be able to sort out most of the issues that we face.
You're so right, because your goals are only as good as the systems that you have in place.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes,
All right. So
yes,
your philosophy is systems that work. Why do you
yes,
believe that so many
yes,
good leaders and good organizations
yes.
often fail to create lasting impact? Why is that so?
Mm. Uh, Take for instance, we had Jesus. We still pray when we name Jesus and all that and everything. That's an example, classical example. So, what basically why organizations can't do something long lasting, I mean long lasting impact, why can they can't achieve long lasting impact, is because a lot of what happens in organizations, in countries, is basically because we build around personalities instead of principles. These are a situation where you get, if you remove person A from the matrix, then the entire thing collapses, because an employee will not believe that they can do the job without the CEO reporting to work. It means they're worshiping the CEO.
Mm.
But if you have principles, if you have systems that are working in an organization, then I don't have to wait for the CEO to show up for me to behave like I've been working or I'm working. So when organizations depend on one, let's say, charismatic leader instead of effective systems, then progress will often ends that the progress will always end when that leader exits the stage. So we have to be intentional about building systems, not worshipping, not hero worshipping or personality worshipping. Let's build systems. We have to build principles, because that's the only way that we are sure about creating lasting impact.
Mm. You know, let's go a little bit into your philosophy on
Yes,
systems. What misconception about leadership do you strongly disagree with?
that leadership is about power and positions. Far
Mm.
from it. Leadership, for me, it's about influence through service. Are we able to influence people? Are our actions inspiring people to do more, to be better, to love their community, to believe in tomorrow? It's not about power, it's not about positions. So titles may open doors, that's fine. Uh, but as leaders, we have to invest in character and competence.
Mm.
So, in summary, what I can say, leadership is not about power and position.
Mm. There's more to leadership than power. Huh? Now, let's
Yeah.
talk about what are some of the leadership lessons that took you the longest to learn?
Uh, wow. Quite a lot. Definitely quite a lot. The key one that I can talk about is that I the bit of delegation.
Mm.
Um, Before, as a leader, I was like, I'm good at this, I can do it. Then you realize that leadership is about influence. So basically, you have to bring other people on board. You have to empower others so that after you, they are able to do something, or something is able to be done, whether you're there or not. So I had to stop believing in myself too much and started empowering others, trusting capable people and creating an environment where everyone succeeds together. I take leadership as a team sport. So in a team sport, like take for instance, when we were watching World Cup, we had Messi, we had Ronaldo, and all that. So you find the teams that are like, no, Argentina is going to win because of this person. Portugal is going to win because of this person. But then, the moment you remove those people, then everything collapses. So, the act of delegation is one leadership quality that I took time to learn, but I'm glad I've reached a point that I can say, yes, it is working for me.
You know, Collins, one thing is certain is that when you're pursuing big achievements and when you're leading people in those, we all will be challenged. There are challenges, right? Let's talk about some of your most difficult leadership season and what did it teach you? What did those seasons and situations, what did it taught you about leadership?
Uh,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
uh, Most difficult leadership seasons. You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Mhm.
Ah, okay. Leading through change has been the most challenging. Um in this way, I've always tried as a leader to introduce new ideas, and sometimes some of these ideas you face resistance because not necessarily because people don't want them, but you find the conception is a little bit different. Someone takes time for them to understand a simple concept, and that ideally has been quite of a leadership. I mean, one of the most difficult points because you have very brilliant, very good ideas, but then people tend to resist because they don't really understand. So what that has taught me is patience, consistency, and basically a lasting transformation requires both courage and persistence.
Yeah, Collins, you know that we were recently in Kenya and we worked together. What lessons did you picked up? What was the biggest impact on you from our time working together in Kenya?
Uh, Hello, I didn't get that clearly.
Yeah, we were recently in Kenya and we did some work together with you and your team. And just wanted to ask you, what was the lesson, the biggest lesson learned from us working together in Kenya? Yeah, we're having some difficulties with your internet. Can you hear me?
Thank you for asking this. I think if this, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead and respond if you're hearing me.
You can
I think we'll take
wait,
a
wait, wait. Hebu niambie wale watu wa reduce music kidogo. Inter- All right. One of the things that stood out for me in our collaboration in what we did in Kenya is short of humility that stood out. that stood out for me because you realize how you were able to collaborate with both teams. It didn't matter whether you are a Kenyan, you're a Jamaican, or you are an American. We were all for one thing in a very humble moment. Every moment meant something to both of us. Again, humility in this sense, because we are used to a scenario whereby when you have people coming, let's say, from outside our country, when they come here, then you have a sort of personality worshipping, hero worshipping, citizen worshipping, and all those. Some people, because of maybe exposure level and all that, some people want to look like they're small gods, and that basically creates not a so nice environment. So, what I picked out from your visit with us is humility, and thank you for that. I hope that's what happened. That's what should happen to every individual outside here.
The message that we
We have to be
the message that we were sending was all about kindness. And I think that's the message that
yes,
really defines everything around us. And I think that's what you're sensing. Ultimately,
yes,
leadership is about building something that will outlive you. It's about
yes,
leading communities, organizations, and future generations better than we found them. Through your
yes,
company, Fairway Sports, and your various leadership roles,
yes.
what problem are you ultimately trying to solve?
Well, fantastic. First and foremost, Fairway Sports came from this background. After, not even before I completed my university studies, but yes, when I was still in college, I started going to a golf club. I was these guys you call caddies, these guys who carry the bags for the golfers and all that. And basically, what pushed me to that level was that this sport is not known. So, what do these guys do? What does it mean to be in a members only club where not everyone is allowed to get in? So, fairway is basically part of a golf course, the straight parts of a golf course. So, that's the background of this. So, I was like, okay, if I was able to get my first job in a golf club, then why can't I do something that is long lasting, something that I'll always remember? I mean, I'm creating a story for the future, my future generation. I'll tell them, okay, this is what happened. So that's basically fairway. So what happens, what the problem that Fairway Sports, as a leader under Fairway Sports company, what you're trying to solve is basically connecting talent and opportunity. Because I told you the part of this particular discussion that the issue that we have is that as young people in Kenya and in Africa, we have immense talent but limited opportunities. So we were Fairway, that's what we are trying to solve, connecting talent and opportunity. So me as a leader, I'm able to bring different sport personalities together. I'm able to create sport events that is cost effective. They don't have to be, let's say, in the capital city for them to play football. We organize it here in Kakamega. So those are the opportunities that I'm looking at right now. In terms of connecting talent and opportunity, it's a beautiful program which I'm enrolling right now, where we have public space for people to learn how to play golf. It's still a high end sport in our country and just like the rest of the world. So by having this initiative, what it means is that I'll be getting kids from primary schools, secondary schools, and they'll be able to just play at a low. It's a low cost learning of the game, and I believe that will inspire next generation of golfers in my country. So, in a nutshell, Fairway Sport and my leadership role is basically to connect young people, connect talents and opportunities.
Talent and opportunity. Correct them. Now, what is the significance of the name Fairway? How did you come up with that, and what does it mean?
Well, quite significant because I came up with it because despite the unemployment rate in my country, when I was still in college, I started working at that time. And my first job was in a golf club. So I got so passionate about golf. I got so passionate in this sense. Being a privileged sport, not everyone gets a chance to play golf anyway. And looking at my background, my family, no one has ever played golf. So I was like, wow, so it means I can get to a golf club, learn about playing golf, get good grading. So I developed a lot of interest in that particular sport. I grew into the industry, became a golf referee, which we are very few in Kenya right now. So it's from that passion. So so fairway, basically a fairway in a golf course is a very straight, long path in a golf course. So I was looking at uh, these straight paths. It's like a journey. So not all fairways are very straight. Some of them are in zigzag. Some of them are in very funny, funny dimensions. But I was like moving from one hole. Moving from a tee box where you start playing to where you are holding out. It's a journey in between. So I was like, I like this journey to be fairway. So that's the genesis of fairway. So it's
That is
about connecting two locations.
well, there's a price to be paid for everything in life,
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
There's no free walk, right? What are you
Yes,
willing
yes,
to
yes.
sacrifice to build the future you envision? What are you willing to personally sacrifice to build that future you envision?
Comfort. What I'm willing to sacrifice. Yes, I'm willing to sacrifice my comfort because I know what I intend to achieve. What I'm envisioning is not cheap, it's not small, it's big. That means I have to sacrifice my comfort, including sleeping, convenience, and recognition. Because yes, sometimes as a leader, you do some beautiful things, and yes, people will flower you with very beautiful words. But then beyond those words, you have to continue grinding. So for me, comfort, convenience, and recognition, I think those are things that I'm willing to sacrifice because real change definitely requires commitment and discipline, and also the willingness to just achieve more.
Okay? The conveniences that you have and so forth, you're willing to give that
Yes,
all up to achieve what you need to achieve. Now, what
yes,
responsibility do
yes.
successful people have to create opportunities for others? Is it a responsibility or is it all about making money?
Okay.
We're having some serious internet issues here.
Right.
All right, you're back.
So for me, is that success is incomplete benefits one individual. For me, true success actually creates ladders for others to climb. So if be very intentional about creating opportunities and ladders for others to climb because I'll need them at some. We should. We are customers. So as a custodian, you have to be a good sees that yes, you came and you did something, and that should motivate them to do something.
We're having some challenges with the internet, but we'll keep it moving, right? So, when it's all said and done, what does success truly mean to you?
Well, success to me, what it should mean and what it means to me is about having something long lasting, having people who believe in themselves, having people who believe in having good systems that not only today, for tomorrow, and for future generations. That's success for me.
You know, I'm gonna
And
ask.
maybe to add on it again, from yes, Prof. Lexley.
So Collins, I'm gonna ask you
Hello.
for. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you for questions, and I just want you to answer with the first thing that comes to mind. One word that describes your journey so far. One word.
Resilience.
Resilient. What is one lesson you wish you had learned
Resilience. Yes.
earlier in
Yes.
life?
Mm, hard work doesn't pay. So we have to be
Repeat that.
intentional about creating structures.
Go ahead and repeat
Hard
that.
work doesn't pay, and we have to be intentional about creating. Hard work doesn't pay. We have to be intentional about creating structures.
Be intentional. All right, I want you to complete this sentence.
Yeah.
Leadership is.
Yes. Creating an environment where others succeed.
Say that again.
Creating, you get me?
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm. Go ahead and say it. Leadership
So
is.
leadership is creating an environment where creating an environment where other people that we are with and they must succeed.
Okay. All right. If you could leave one message for the next generation of African leaders, what would it be?
Don't wait for perfect conditions because perfect conditions will never come. Start where you are, serve faithfully, commit to build systems, and leave every community better than you found it.
Mm. Collins, 50 years from now, if people could
Yes.
remember only one thing about the way you lived your life, what would you hope that would be?
Yes. Uh, I'm hoping that will be the system that I will have helped in creating.
Mhm.
I hope that will be, say, that I building stronger system, long-lasting system, carry people to achieve extraordinary things. That's what I'd like them to remember me with.
Mm. When when it's all said and done, I want you
Yes,
to I want you to speak to young people across Kenya. What do you have to say
yes.
to them? What do you have to say to them?
Uh, what I can say for young people in Kenya uh, is don't you lose your power of purpose, and your background doesn't determine who you end up being in life. Continue pursuing your dreams. That will be my message to them.
You have a new assignment. You was just promoted into a new position. Can you share what that is all about?
All right. Yes. For my new position, uh, it's about leading young people. This is a service organization, Lions Club International, has a youthful branch. We call that youthful branch the Leo movement. So they are the younger version of Lions being as an international service. So what my new role means is that I have to handhold young people, have to mentor them, have to show them direction, ensure that my clubs I have like under my leadership I have about 40 clubs. So I have to ensure that these people are serving communities that are in need. That means we have to most of them to do this, and we enable them to do this, and we enable and just making sure that as young people we are taking part in building our country. We are taking part in building the next generation of volunteers who will again mentor other generations to come. So that's what it means. It's not, and it's a position which I take with a lot of humility because it's not easy leading young people in this era. Maybe it was tough even in other eras, but I know in our era it is not easy because everyone has their own ideas. So that means for me, I have to harmonize all the crazy ideas that all these guys can have and make sure that all those ideas become meaningful. That's what it
Mhm.
means. It is not easy, but it is doable. And that's why we are building a system. And for me, as a president, I'm looking at building a system that will leave me being in that particular position. It's a 1 year to 1 year. I'm hoping and I'm looking forward to the successors who are going to come after me. So that's why for my year as a district league president, I'm very, very intentional about creating structures that next 1 year creating structures that are going to outlive me as a district
Mhm.
president. That's what it means.
Well, you have an election coming up next year. Are you excited about the possibility in the general election coming up next year?
Yes, yes, yes.
How
Yes, we
involved?
have
Mhm.
our elections coming up. That's next year. That's when we'll be having our general election.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So before we go, is there anything
Hello?
else you'd like to add? Final thoughts? Anything else you'd like to share?
Yes. Uh, what I can share as my final thoughts is specifically to young people. And my message or my thoughts to young people is that we face a lot of challenges, but the biggest advantage we have is the possibility for us to innovate. The potential in innovation is the greatest weapon that we have that is going to salvage us from any challenging situation that we face in life. So let's continue innovating. Let's be kind to people. That's for me again very very crucial. As young people, let's try as much as possible to be kind to people. That's the only way that we'll be remembered as good people. Yes, that will be my final thought.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's conversation reminds us that leadership is not about titles. Leadership is about service. It is about creating opportunity for others.
Yes,
It's about building systems that
yes,
empower people long after we're gone. In our
absolutely.
conversation with Collins, he talked about the importance of service, the importance of creating opportunities, and connecting talent with opportunities. He talked about building systems. We have been reminded that the future of Africa is filled with extraordinary
Yes,
potential. But realizing that future will require intentional leadership, collaboration, investment in
yes,
young
absolutely.
people, and individuals who are willing to dedicate themselves to something greater than themselves. In closing, and on behalf of life changing conversations to inspire
Absolutely.
action, let me say thank you, Mr. Collins Ojiwa, for sharing your wisdom, your journey, and your vision with us today. And to our
My
viewers,
pleasure.
thank
My
you.
pleasure.
To our viewers out there in the world, never underestimate the power of one idea, because one act of service, one
Yeah.
opportunity, one leader can change this entire world. Our conversations on this
Absolutely.
platform can change a life, and one life can change the world. I want to say thank you for joining us today. And until next
Yeah.
time, continue to live with purpose, lead with compassion, and inspire action. Blessings always.
That's it.
We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love